Good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Welcome to KUTV Weekend Live. Let's get the highlights. I'm not in office yet. ODM party leader Raila Odinga asked leaders to stop ethnic and succession campaigns. Embu contract health workers demand to know their fate after their 4-year contract expires in May this year. Police officers from Kirinyaga County confiscate ethanol believed to be used in manufacturing illicit brew. And government challenge to empower production of fertilizers by county governments to control the distribution of fake fertilizers. We are also live on YouTube at KUTV News Kenya, and you can send us your feedback on X at KUTV_Kenya at Anyango Sylvia KE. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Sami Okelo and Anyango Sylvia. We begin. Orange Democratic Movement ODM party leader Raila Odinga has asked leaders to stop ethnic and regional succession politics, claiming that it will cause division. Raila also asked leaders aspiring to succeed him as ODM party leader to go slow, affirming that he is still the party leader. Odinga likened them to men who want to inherit a widow whose husband is still alive. The former prime minister was reacting to calls by coastal ODM leaders who had asked him to endorse former Mombasa Governor Ali Hassan Joho as his successor after winning the African Union Commission chairmanship position.
Mimi nimesema tu mimi naomba kuwa mwenyekiti wa bara la Afrika. Tapata. Sijapata. Kwa mimi niko hapa. Hata kama mimi niko hapa kwa sababu ni hapa. Baba yuko tu. Hajatoka. Tayari nimesema wewe shika hiyo pande, shika pande hapana. Kama baba atakuwa yuko, tutaketi chini kama wana ODM. Tutakubaliana. Je, ODM inahitaji Ali Hassan Joho? Chama ODM inahitaji Wycliffe Ambacho Parani. Chama inahitaji wale wote ndani yake. Inahitaji Gavana Mgaru, Abdul Samad, Anyango, James Orengo, na watu wote. ODM inakuwa na nguvu kama watu wote wako ndani yake. Kwa hivyo tutaki hii campaign ambayo inaweza kusababisha chama.
And police officers and national government administrators led by Kirinyaga County Commissioner Hussein Alaso today morning stormed a homestead at Kabeti village in Gichungu constituency, which is suspecting to be used in manufacturing illegal liquor. During the raid, the police found suspected illicit brew ethanol, which is used in manufacturing the brew, machines, bottles, KRA stamps, and other assorted materials. County Commissioner has confirmed that one of the employees has been arrested, but the owner is still on the run, and the police have launched a manhunt.
Tumesema hatutapumzika mpaka tuhakikishe ya kwamba wale ambao wanafanya shughuli ya kutengeneza pombe haramu tumewafagia na tumekamata wote katika kaunti ya Kirinyaga. So kwa hivyo tunawaonya wale ambao katika biashara wajua kama siku yao their days are numbered, na pia tunaomba wananchi wakazi wa Kirinyaga kwa jumla, yule mtu yote ambaye ana habari kuhusu mtu yote ambaye anatengeneza pombe haramu kijijini ama mashambani ama mahali popote, muweze kuwasiliana na sisi.
And Secretary of State Antony Blinken plans to go to France and Belgium next week to try to build unity among allies in support of Ukraine in its war against Russia and of Israel in its war against Hamas. Analysts say he faces a tough task. VOA senior diplomatic correspondent Cindy Sain reports.
Russia struck the northeastern Ukrainian city of Kharkiv with aerial bombs Wednesday for the first time since 2022, killing at least one civilian and wounding 16 others and causing widespread damage. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is heading to Europe next week to cement support for Ukraine, as the State Department announced.
Secretary Blinken will travel to Paris, France, and Brussels and Leuven, Belgium, April 1st to 5th to underscore our commitment to the NATO alliance, strengthening transatlantic partnerships, and addressing global challenges. In Paris, Secretary Blinken will meet with French President Macron to discuss support for Ukraine, efforts to prevent escalation of the conflict in Gaza, and a number of other important issues.
French President Emmanuel Macron stirred up a controversy last month by saying that it is imperative that Russia be defeated and that it should not be ruled out that the West may need to send ground troops into Ukraine, a suggestion the U.S. and Germany swiftly rejected. One expert told VOA that he believes Macron was expressing the view, often expressed by the U.S., that all options are possible, without meaning troops would be deployed in Ukraine anytime soon.
I mean, we're in a tougher moment in terms of the war in Ukraine, and it is imposing new challenges and new risks for escalation. In some ways, the United States and France are the most outspoken and most forward-leaning on the question of support for Ukraine across the Atlantic. So there's every reason for us to be on the same page, but I think that meeting with President Macron will certainly be very important to codify that.
Meanwhile, Blinken will head to Europe next week as outrage there and elsewhere grows over the suffering of Palestinian civilians in Gaza due to Israel's war against the U.S.-designated terrorist group Hamas. Another expert told VOA that in Paris and Brussels, Blinken will likely face the complex task of having to listen to and reassure allies while maintaining support for Israel's right to defend itself.
He's going to have to articulate strong support for Israel. I think Biden has been unambiguous on that point, but at the same time be sensitive to some of the concerns that Europeans have in particular about Israel going too far, or Israel not having a long-term strategy, or of Israel engaging in human rights abuses in Gaza.
Another discussion top for Blinken and his counterparts is likely to be the terrorist threat posed by the Islamic State group, which claimed responsibility for the attack last week on a concert in Moscow. The U.S. dismissed as propaganda charges by Russian officials that Ukraine was involved in the attack. Cindy Sain, VOA News.
And Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi on Sunday fired a warning signal to those behind the supply of substandard fertilizer. Mudavadi outlined that the government will not relent in its quest to comprehensively investigate the matter and culprits will be brought to justice. Mudavadi's sentiments came days after he chaired the Principal Secretary's National Development Implementation Committee directed to suspend further distribution of fertilizers until investigations are concluded and a report provided.
If you follow the supply chain properly, you know, munajua, which consignment was brought in by who out of this fertilizer. Musizungushe watu kwa muda mrefu, because you know, let us make sure that the law follows these people so that they are charged in a court of law and prosecuted so that they don't bring messes in the food security area.
Na pia sisi kama viongozi mahala popote pale tuko, if we know those cartels, let us deal with them.
Unajua wananchi wetu wamezoea ile mbolea ya zamani CAN, so wakiona anything ambaye si ile round na white wanasema ni fake. So pia nyinyi musigeuke mkue kebs at anything that you see that does not look like ile mbolea ya zamani nasema hii ni fake.
Video captured by VOA reporter in Capital shows residents fleeing gunfire near Major Park, aftermath of looting and arson attacks near hospital and residential palace. Listen in.
Gunfire erupted in the streets surrounding a major public park in downtown Port-au-Prince, Haiti on March 21st. What is going on? Our reporter asked one of the many people running away from the shooting near the Champ de Mars. There was no answer, but another terrified woman could be heard saying, "Sweet Jesus, I am going to die today." One man, who didn't provide his name, was walking away from the violence when he noticed our reporter's Voice of America insignia. He stopped to share his experience.
There are a lot of rumors going around. I am here to sell stuff, and I cannot even make a sale. I am now 60 years old. I cannot live under this kind of pressure. I have to leave and go home.
A young man on a motorcycle, bleeding from his leg, stopped to get his wound bandaged by an armed man dressed in black. Uniformed police patrolling the streets shouted for people to leave the area, as others guarded the entrance to a base of UDMO, a Haitian National Police unit responsible for crowd control. 5 days later, the aftermath of the gang violence was evident on Monseigneur Guillou Street, adjacent to the State University of Haiti Hospital. This was a medical clinic looted by members of a coalition of gangs who call themselves Vivre Ensemble. The bandits looted and burned other businesses, including one where Jean-Yves Policard says he had been working for 37 years.
I don't know yet how much I've lost. Being so close to the hospital and the presidential palace, I didn't think that I would face this situation. When I saw everybody running for the hills, I said to myself, I'll keep my cool, because my proximity to those sites would give me some kind of safety. At the end of the day, the security was simply zero.
That absence of security has left residents of the Haitian capital wandering through the wreckage of burned-out cars and debris-filled streets, not knowing when the gang violence will end. For Machado Vilme in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, Michael Lippin, VOA News.
254 Embu County health workers employed on contract under the Universal Health Care Program 4 years ago now want the county and national governments to give a clear way forward on what will happen to them after their 4-year contracts expire in May this year. During the COVID-19 outbreak in the country, the national government sought to employ health workers on a 1-year contract to ease the crisis of shortage of health professionals. Later on, the county government of Embu extended their service with another 3-year contract that is expected to end in May this year. The health workers now want to be given a clear way forward on who shall take responsibility of their salaries. The Kenya National Chair of the National Union of Nurses, Joseph Ngwasi, has outlined the importance of the 2 levels of government coming to a consensus on determining the way forward.
After serving for 3 good years under the national government, then the county government still gave us the 3 years contract, which is contrary to the PSC. Sasa tunauliza swali moja kwa county ya Embu. Kwa nini walitupatia the 3 years contract na ambapo tumeambiwa ni 1 year contract, na contract yetu ikiisha wanatupangia aje? Hilo ndio swali.
The workers, who comprise of nurses, clinical officers, and hospital records managers, are considered to be a huge part of the health workforce in the county. According to the chair of Embu branch of the Clinical Officers Union, Alois Njoka, the workers exiting service will cripple service delivery in most health facilities. Embu County government is also expected to urgently address the payment terms of the workers, especially on the controversy of people doing the same job but getting different salary rates.
tunachojua ni kwamba hawa wahudumu wa afya wanalipwa kupitia serikali kuu. Kwa hivyo swali ile tuko nayo ni kwamba kwa sababu hii program ilikuwa chini ya serikali kuu na ni wao wamekuwa wakilipa hawa wahudumu wa afya, tungependa kujua gatuzi la Embu ile mpango gani kuhusu hawa wafanyikazi, kwa sababu ni wengi, wako 250 na ni kwamba hawa wakaweza kuacha kufanya kazi, tutafunga zahanati nyingi sana, tutafunga hospitali nyingi katika gatuzi letu la Embu.
This happens even as doctors in the country have maintained that they shall not call off the ongoing nationwide strike. Anyango, Sylvia, Kutv. We take our very first break on the bulletin tonight. Don't go far, because after the break, agribusiness is next.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepopa si vuguvugu. Pepopa ni idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni dunia ni leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
They are powerful and influential. They make decisions in politics, education, finance, agriculture, health, sports, and all aspects of human life. But the impact of their decisions falls on you, the common citizen. KUTV Primetime News Thursday. We ask bold questions and pursue answers to the core to bring you closer to the story. We couldn't have it any other way. Join me, Auma Evans, as I raise matters of social concern to raise your voice from the background to the foreground. Every Thursday and Saturday at 9 p.m. only on KUTV.
Farmers continue to raise complaints about fake fertilizers. Machakos Deputy Governor Francis Mwangangi criticized the government for failing to tame unscrupulous businessmen selling fake fertilizers to farmers under the watch of the national government. Mwangangi asked the government to empower production of fertilizers in the county level.
The only way to solve the puzzle of fake fertilizers in the country is by allocating more money to the county government to enable counties to be able to produce their own fertilizers. This was the Machakos County Deputy Governor's sentiments, Francis Mwangangi, during an Easter Eve Mass at Kizangaini Catholic Parish Church in Machakos County. Speaking after the Mass, Mwangangi slammed the government for allegedly not controlling traders who sell fake fertilizers to farmers.
Pesa za matusi zingekuwa hatungekuwa tunauziwa fertilizer ama mbolea ambayo si ya ukweli, kwa sababu serikali yetu na kaunti inaweza kununua, lakini kwa sisi centralized in Nairobi, ndio unaona watu wanapewa karatasi hawajali kuhusu Wakenya, wanaenda kuuzia something fake.
Mwangangi has, however, asked the national government to fund county governments by allocating them funds to start producing or buying their own fertilizers from certified manufacturers to evade unscrupulous businessmen selling fake fertilizers to the National Cereal and Produce Board depots, claiming that it is the only move that will save over 6.5 million registered farmers in the country.
Saa hii kila kaunti ingekuwa na pesa yake ya kununua fertilizer yake, hatungekuwa na fertilizer fake ama bushi. Watu wetu tungekuwa na safe food security, because tungehakikisha kwamba ile mbolea tunaletea watu wetu ni ile mbolea ambayo itaenda kwa.
Mwangangi's sentiments comes few days after it emerged that cartels have taken control of the fertilizer supply chain by supplying fake fertilizers, causing huge losses to farmers. Salma Swaleh, KUTV.
Moving on across our borders, now 2 female entrepreneurs in Mozambique have started businesses that help fight climate change and reduce pollution. Amarilis Gule has this story from the capital, Maputo. Michelle Joseph narrates.
Vanya Lazaro likes to add a new plant to her garden whenever possible. Over the past 6 months, she has been testing a new fertilizer on her flower and vegetable beds at her home in Maputo, Mozambique. She says that thanks to the product called Ntoko Organic, her plants are healthier.
We incorporate Ntoko organic compounds into our garden, as they are biodegradable and free of chemicals. This ensures that we consume healthier food.
After a few unsuccessful projects, Mozambican entrepreneur Marcia Dimajone founded Ntoko Organic. She says it was during a business competition that she realized that she could produce fertilizer from organic waste, such as dried leaves, vegetables, and fruit. Ntoko Organic collects its fertilizer-making ingredients from the community itself.
We distribute buckets to people's homes, accompanied by labels indicating the types of materials they can deposit into these buckets. This approach ensures the quality of our raw materials.
Dimajone isn't the only woman operating a green business in Mozambique. Nearly 5 years ago, Karina Jamal founded Cocoa Boxes, a startup that supplies biodegradable and environmentally friendly packaging and paper bags. Jamal says she wanted to create a solid business while inspiring other women.
I always wanted to leave a footprint in the world that would serve as an incentive not only for women, but for my daughter. In the future, she'll be able to say that I fought hard, not only to be a successful entrepreneur, but also to do something beautiful for the environment.
Jamal and Dimajone are helping reduce environmental pollution and build a sustainable future for all Mozambicans. They both encourage women to take a chance on something they believe in.
A lot of people are scared, but I think that living in your comfort zone isn't the best thing in the world either.
We train young women in our Green Woman project. We want them to create their own green businesses. Then they can be agents of change in their localities and have greater financial autonomy.
According to the World Bank, only about 25% of all businesses in Mozambique are run by women, a percentage these women say needs to grow. For Amarilis Goulet in Maputo, Mozambique, is Michelle Joseph, VOA News.
Moving on to sports tonight, one of the main attractions of the Kipkeino Classic, which will take place in Nairobi on April 20, will be none other than Africa's fastest man, Ferdinand Omanyala. Omanyala had not committed to the tournament, but he has now confirmed of his attendance, setting up a fascinating race between Letsile Tebogo, the sprint wonder from Botswana, in the 100 meters. Tebogo announced his attendance early in the week, and with his impressive form, he should be able to challenge his competitors. At the same time, President William Ruto has called on the private sector to play a greater role in hosting the World Rally Championship, WRC Safari Rally. According to President Ruto, the global event presents huge untapped opportunities for business people if they participate and take advantage of the benefits of the rally provides. The president pointed out that WRC Safari Rally in Kenya was this time watched by over 85 million people in 170 countries globally, with over 50 international television channels airing it. That is it from us tonight. Thank you so much for keeping us company, and on behalf of the production team, we thank you so much. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Sami Okelo, and I'm Anyango Sylvia. Have a good night.